Let us talk about web services. We'll see the history of web services. He was the first, and how did it start? The open and standard technologies, the advantages, the real web services and online services. So what was the history of web services? It's all started with structured programming, then came object-oriented programming, then distributed programming, then electronic data interchange, then came the World Wide Web, and now web services. So what was the first? What company first proposed the web services concept? It was HP eSpeak in 1999. It was an enabler for e-services. Then Microsoft introduced the name web services in June 2000. Microsoft bet the company on its web services strategy, and now every major vendor is a player. Then what are open and standard technologies? XML, Extended Markup Language. This is tagging data such that it can be exchanged between applications and platforms. XML is just a schema. Everywhere it can be used, everywhere it can be processed. And then SOAP, S-O-A-P. This is a messaging protocol for transporting information and instructions between the application, and it uses underlyingly XML. Then WSDL, a standard method for describing web services and their specific capabilities. Again, XML is involved. Then UDDI, this defines XML-based rules for building directories in which companies advertise themselves and their web services. What are the advantages of web services? It is open, text-based standard, it has a modular approach, it is inexpensive relative to other technologies to implement and reduce the cost of enterprise application integration, and also it supports incremental implementation. Just name a few real web services. Let us try it. US Berkeley Unified Communications Technical Project. It unify email, voices and fax into a box, accessible from cell phones, PDAs or email clients. Eastman Chemical Company. Distributors access chemical catalog in a real time as push info to customers. Accenture. Live information model. Stock traders access real-time information from a single terminal. Then Dollar Rent a Car or Southwest Airlines. Southwest runs Unix, Dollar runs MS-DOS or MS Windows. Then Dollar turned its system into a web service. So these are a few examples, and let us see the bigger picture. This is a client. A client queries registry to locate service. This is UDDI registry. Now this UDDI registry refers client to WSDL document. Then this client accesses WSDL documents. Then WSDL provides data to interact with web services, and client sends SOAP message request. So web services return again SOAP message in response. So this is how it takes place. So before I go ahead to XML, let me again go to this big picture. This is a client. Now this UDDI is universal. This discovery and integration of description, and this is universal description and discovery integration. UDDI stands for it. WSDL stands for web services data language, and as we saw, SOAP is simply a simple object access protocol. Now we can go to the next slide, but before that I just need to show you this again. This is very important and the heart of this video actually. So XML, it was developed from standardized generalized markup language SGML, and XML was widely supported by World Wide Web Consortium W3C. An essential characteristic is the separation of content from the presentation. Previously, the content and presentation were merged together. They go hand in hand. But XML describes only data. So any application that understands XML can exchange data easily. An XML parser only checks syntax. So if syntax is good, the document is well formatted. An XML document can optionally reference a DTD, that is a document type definition, also called a schema. And if an XML document adheres to the structure of the schema, this DTD, then XML is supposed to be valid. And then SOAP, which I just mentioned, Simple Object Access Protocol, it enables between distributed system. So SOAP has 3 parts actually: envelope, header and body. This envelope wraps entire message and contains header and body, these two. And this header, this is an optional element with additional information such as for security or routing. While this body, this is application specific data which needs to be communicated. This is the content which needs to be transferred. And WSDL, again, web services data language. These web services are self-describing. So description is written in this WSDL. This is again an XML based language through which a web services conveys to application or says to communication the method that the service provides and how these methods are accessed. Okay, this is all written in WSDL, and WSDL is meant to be read by only applications, not by us humans. UDDI, this is universal discovery or description integration. This UDDI defines an XML based format that describes electronic capabilities and business processes. The entries are actually stored in UDDI. That is why it is called as UDDI registry. And UDDI business registry UBR has white pages, say contact info description, yellow pages, say classification information or details, say green pages, technical data. You may go to this link and understand more. And then OS is, this is not a competition to W3C, and this ensures that businesses acquire e-businesses tool that meets their needs. So United Nations Center for Trade Facilitation and Electronic Business produced Electronic Business XML, EBXML. And web services security architecture is something like this. We have this WS secure conversation. There are 4 layers. So first one is WS federation, WS authorization, then the policy, trust and privacy, then security, then SOAP. So this WS security, if we talk about, okay, this layer, it describes how to attach signature and encryption headers to SOAP messages, and how to attach security tokens such as, say example, X.509 certificates and Kerberos tickets. This is the layer which we are talking about. And this WS policy, it describes the capability and constraints of the security and business policies on intermediaries and endpoints. While this WS trust, this is a framework for trust model that enables web services to interoperate securely. And this WS privacy, this is a model for how web services and requests state privacy preferences and organizational privacy practice statements. This WS secure conversation, it manages and authenticates message exchanges between parties, including security context exchange and establishing and deriving session keys. And this WS federation, it manages or manage and act as a broker trust relationship in a heterogeneous federated environment, including support for federated identities. And this authorization, again the same work like managing authorization data and authorization policy. So hope you understood a bit idea about our web services. Thank you so much.